Growing and scaling a business is complex. It can be very scary and lonely trying to navigate it all. It comes down to the community of trusted people you surround yourself with. Let's dive in to the Business is People podcast. Hey, Quinn, awesome to have you back for us tearing down a site that I think we're both very passionate about. It's supporting girls and women who code. I want to give a little backstory. So another reason what drives me here is that I have 3 girls and I want to help pave a way of equality for women. I think it's extremely important. And my wife, who the director in the medical industry, I look up to her every day. And she teaches me a lot about organizations, and it's unbelievable the balance that she can do and the impact that she's making as a leader there, especially against men. So really excited to unpack this site, Girls Who Code. So tell me a little bit about what's your passion when it comes to equality with women.
So being an entrepreneur as a woman, when you go to conferences and stuff, like all of the speakers are men. There's not so many women up there. Women have a voice as well. And as you said, they're inspiring, they're awesome, they're doing cool stuff, and they're not shown in the spotlight as much. So I think it's really cool that, Girls Who Code developers are actually predominantly male. Like when I hired a developer recently, I had over 100 applications and only 4 of them were female. So,
Wow.
helping more women get into tech is really important to me.
The women that we have are like racially, I just feel naturally a lot of the women that work in my agency, they just do a kick-ass job. I look forward to interviewing women because I know there's like, you guys just have this innate ability to just organize and you just execute. And not that men can't do that, but I feel like it's just more natural for whatever reason. So there should be more women in the tech
Hmm.
space and in leadership roles. So let's dive into this site. This site is a site that I've heard a lot about. They've done awesome work, but this is the first time actually I've been on it. I've known this brand. I've never been on this site.
Hmm.
So Quinn and I are going on this site. First impressions, we're going to go through and unpack kind of what's their brand message? What do they do? How do they help? What's the impression and emotional feeling that we get from this? So we're going to go through the homepage and we're going to check out the donation page. So just landing on this page right away, what's your first impression, Quinn?
Yeah, so the first thing is I get like Girls Who Code is very clear. I'm like, why is the main CTA get updates when probably the main goal of this is to have people donate? So I kind of question that.
Or
And
support, right?
yeah, exactly. And kind of looking at this main header as a white woman, I see all minorities here and people of
Mm.
color. So I wonder if it's just for minorities or is it for all females, all women? So that's kind of a question that pops up just from the imagery.
That is interesting, actually. I didn't notice that at first, but you're right.
It's
Actually, no,
literally one of
right
the
here.
first things I
Now
noticed.
you have to kind of really look, but here is
But I'm curious.
she's right there, kind of behind the word female. I mean, you don't really see a predominant a white
Mhm.
girl here, but I think
So I'm curious if they have more pictures on the page, if it follows along this or not.
are they just the Girls Who Code it? Is this just for engineers? I'm assuming it is because it says that. Because when I first heard the name Girls Who Code, I thought it was also like web development. I thought it meant for.
Well, they also call developers engineers.
Mhm. So
So,
maybe if there's other things that it's another industry that's not like, maybe it's like web development or technology, maybe you say helping fill in the pipeline of future female technologists or
hmm
people in the tech space,
yeah,
and
because
then
engineer could mean developer, coding, it could mean robotics, it could mean actual manufacturing engineer of robotic equipment and stuff. So I'm curious.
and if you're a young girl, you might not know, oh, actually I wasn't thinking of being an engineer. I'm looking to get into robotics, but
Hmm.
robotics is engineering, right? So sometimes you have to take the jargon. I see this with our clients, like they bucket everything under a term, but
Hmm.
I always tell them just be literal, like list it, because it will resonate with someone if they see the word, even though it falls under the category. And
Yeah, so one of the things that I've seen sites do, so future female engineers, and then it changes. So it's coders, robotics, like blah, blah, blah. So it like changes
like a
like
typewriter,
every 2 seconds. Like I've seen that on sites before. So that could be something they could implement
yeah,
there.
right there. Yeah, that's a good idea. Or it just flips, like different words come in and
Hmm.
out. That's a great way. But then they can also empower, like they can have something
Hmm.
say, we build women that are courageous, strong leaders. We do
Hmm.
that by making them the future of engineering. So sometimes telling the story of the outcome of what you want these women and girls to be, but then say, this is how we do it. We want them to be future leaders, future CMOs. We want them to be
And
changing the world.
I don't know that I resonate with the word pipeline. I guess that's their mission here, to get more women into these, but world's largest pipeline, like when I come here, if I want to learn this stuff and build it, that's not what I really resonate with.
It starts to sound a little bit more,
Mission driven, which I get their mission, but
this is, I feel like, an emotional play.
yeah.
I think all brands should always be emotional play, regardless of how, even if you're a very technical business, we're a human reading content. We're still humans at the end of the day, and we want it simple. We tell people, write it in 5th grade level.
I'm not a pipeline.
But we get the intent, right? So hopefully, someone can reword that. I guess, what would you say a little bit different? What would be a different suggestion here, Quinn?
It's about empowering women, because like when you look at technology, it's all men for the most part, and you want to see more women there. So it's about giving exposure, helping women be more seen, helping them kind of in that career path to build credibility. Like when I was getting some speaking coaching, doing a speech, one of the men told me, it was like, yeah, women just naturally don't have credibility, so you have to drop some value in the first 1 to 2 minutes of your speech to get that credibility as fast as possible. Otherwise, people aren't going to listen to the rest of your speech, And it's like, wow. So it's about building up credibility for women, helping them being seen in the workplace, valued. And I think that's also just important as well. We're not a pipeline. Like, I don't know. Those are just my thoughts.
Suggestion, again, we're off the cuff here. So community, the world's largest community of future female engineers, the world's largest ecosystem, but I think the word
community, yeah,
because that's really what it is. I really think at the end of the day, because I'm sure they're getting tons of mentorships. All right, so now you go down, and there's no call to action here. I think they could be. There's an opportunity here to do a call to action, like, be the next one.
Ooh, I like that.
Or how to become the next one. So it's just something like action oriented. Call to action would be nice, because then it could go to here, or whatever information you want to get that person to. Let me just go back up top here again. As you scroll down, so what we do, but who's your audience, right? Is it just girls? Is it also organizations who represent girls? Is it, mentors? Where do you want those people to go? Is there a different part of the site? What's the action you want them to go there? Because if it's a parent, right? So I want to get my daughter, so I think to make it very easy to navigate this. So you go here, we see the mission, and it sounds like they have 3 ways to accomplish this mission. Is clubs, 3rd to 12th grade girls, summer immersion programs. We're getting to the summer season now, so this is relevant.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. I wonder.
Loops means.
Yeah, it's college programs to help our alumni succeed and build community with. So when they say alumni, I'm assuming folks who graduate from their program here, Girls Who Code.
But I don't understand what loops has to do with that. There's a little bit of confusion.
Let's click into it. College loops, supporting women in tech at the college level.
Okay, here's what are college loops.
All right.
So I guess it's like someone that's going to help mentor a younger girl from reading that.
Community through weekly meetings during the school year. So sisterhood, leadership, build your career. So yeah, mentorship, and even maybe camaraderie as well.
Yeah, so maybe college mentorship is actually like a more descriptive term that helps me understand what that is a lot easier.
College loops.
Sometimes I think people, they try to come up with a term or something that's like a little bit more unique or creative, but it loses the understanding of what that is.
Because you have to explain it, then it's not resonating. You have to be able to take a look at this here. College loop president. If you say I'm a college loop president, nobody would know what that means. But you say I'm a college mentorship program president, or there's probably other ways. I know you don't want it too long, but that's what we recommend. Because again, if you're getting too creative and it gets too much,
you lose the message.
Yeah, I hate to use the word cute, but if you get a little too cute with it, you can lose the messaging. Versus like, I always say, go back to 5th grade level reading and writing content. Keep to the point, very simple. Because if you ask a 5th grader, 6th grader, like, college loop. Well, they know what that means. But you say, oh, college mentor program,
Yeah,
or
I would know exactly what that is just by you
um,
saying it. Like, oh, they have a mentorship program for women in college, and we're going to help them succeed and as they start their career, right? That just off the top of my head, like I would assume that's what that meant. Whereas college loops, we had to read through this page to kind of get it.
understand it. And then I'm still looking for stories because I
Yeah.
think if this was really impactful, I would like to see our impact. What is that? Okay, so the data's way in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Our recommendation is anytime people are always about results oriented, they want to know the why and what's in it for me. I would put
Mm-hmm.
this data way up top, like
Yeah, that's
right,
also social proof,
correct.
and you want people to understand that, hey, this program is awesome. Here's why it's awesome. Here are our stats, and it helps people trust you more and believe in the program more. So
Yeah,
I agree with you. That should totally go to the top.
like probably right under, like, maybe after here, because this is a
Mm-hmm.
nice punchy line, right? So to the point, supporting women in tech at the college level, boom. And then before you even say what are college loops, I think you show the data and then you
Mm-hmm.
do this because now you compel them further. You pull them through the story with results, and then people are like, okay, now what is this? What is loops? So then now the rest of it should flow. And I would definitely put testimonials around the data, a layer underneath. I would show video if you can of girls talking about how this affected them and helped them, because video has such a deeper dynamic than just photos. And I think you're telling a story at another level that video will always, I think, dominate. But if people don't want to watch the video, they have imagery. But I really feel if someone's compelled, they're going to watch the
Mm-hmm.
video.
And as we're going through this, I still haven't seen really a photo of a white woman. So I feel like this is for
Uh,
minorities because she looks Asian.
yeah, she looks either Asian or maybe Hispanic. And like here, not
Yeah.
really. You're right. That's interesting. We'll check out the about page eventually to kind of see. But let's go back to the home page.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. So then here, who runs the world?
So they've got a couple different locations of
Okay, kind of
programs.
need to see the effect, which is awesome from a global standpoint.
Hmm.
Okay.
I love that
Nice.
line. You can't be what you can't see. That kind of goes to what I was talking about earlier about going to conferences and all the men are speakers. Well, having a woman up there shows that, oh, women can do this too. And that's inspiring for young girls. So I actually really like that line.
Yeah, my wife says that all the time, especially we got the VP who is a minority to show like you also can be a vice president of the United States. Girls need to see like exactly where their potential is. And kind of going back to what you said earlier, we're not seeing enough white girls here. So we want to show the diversity of you also can be here too, which I'm sure the intent is open to everyone, but well, it's feedback that hopefully they will add more photos. So looking at this, right? So you got featuring women in tech to use whatever they fit into the school day, from math to history to computer science. Using these lesson plans, students can explore the hidden history of women in tech and uncover how to think like a computer scientist. So I kind of want to
So
know a little bit more about this program before I give my email, because I don't want any more spam to my inbox already. And I'm trying to unlock these lessons. I think we all suggest if you do a program or a course, you should give samples so they can kind of see the cadence. They can kind of, and I would do a bullet. What's the takeaway? Like what's in the course
mhm.
of lessons? What do you get? Are there templates? Are there grids? Are they video lessons? Are they just reading? How long does the lesson take? Like this lesson is a 1 week program, 2 hours a day. So just summarizing what it takes to complete the lesson would be very helpful.
One thing that I was kind of noticing is they talked about, well, it's girls who code, then they say engineer, and now they're saying computer scientist. So because at the top they said engineer, now they're using different terms. So
Mm-hmm.
I know we were talking about switching the terms, but it's just a little bit confusing.
It goes back to the point. I think if they did like a rotating word, that
Hmm.
would help.
There's all kinds of engineers, computer scientists, developers, coders, robotics, like whatever, like showing us it's about all of it. Because at the top, if it says engineers, I've kind of had my first impression be like, oh, this is about engineers. And now we're talking about computer scientists. And just the language either has to have consistency or you have to show the diversity
Or you
of that.
maybe if they want to stick with the blanket approach, science and tech, the future of females in science and technology.
Yeah. And then I would be like, oh, okay, that's engineers, that's computer scientists, that's developers, that's all those things. So I think for the terms that they use and see, like here, what a programmer looks like. But change the image of what a programmer looks and does. So they're using like random words throughout the copy. And so it kind of confuses.
And as a young girl, not even as adults, right?
hmm
They probably can't differentiate what a programmer does versus a computer science person versus. So you're trying to expect, again, a girl could be, hey, I want to do this as a career. I heard a lot of great things about girls who code. They come here and using these different terminologies could confuse them. Like, well, actually, I want to be a web developer or I want to do AI coding for a software company, which is probably a programmer, but they might not know that. Right.
Yeah.
So that's where you got to use terms that will resonate with people who might not be familiar with some of these more overarching terms.
Yeah. So maybe it's like at the top, it says like tech, and then underneath it, it's like developers, engineers, data scientists, whatever. They kind of show the range of that somewhere. Like, what does that mean? I think that would be kind of cool.
It could also go under what we do and then say industries that we've made an impact in. And they can list the different industries because they have a lot of space here to do that. And they can make it look still really beautiful. They can create graphical icons and list it. Because then what they can do there is, or say like what career, what do we do? And then what career are you interested in? That could be like a great kind of like a splash page where they can list all the different types of career paths or professions. And they click that icon like this, and it goes to that page to say, here's the path to become a programmer.
Yeah. And just to kind of say something that the site is doing really well is one, they have a really good brand, they have a really good design, it flows really well, the visual hierarchy is good. So they've done a really good job with that overall.
It's very clean. It's beautiful. I like it a lot.
Yeah, a lot of times people put like too much information and they don't use white space and visual hierarchy well, but they've done that pretty well here.
Yep. All right. So this looks like some PR announcements here. They're making an impact. So the section goes from here to here. Even though it has a line, I feel like it needs to have a title, like what this is. Like maybe it's like, what we're doing in the community. What do you think? Or maybe the line suffices.
Yeah, I kind of think the line's good because the big heading is right there.
All right. And then this is our first testimonial.
Yeah.
I wish there was more. Because most sites now, there's at least 3, or there's like a chevron arrow here, or you can go to the next one. And I wish there was a video here, really. I just feel like it's table stakes. Like you have to have a video. At least talk, even if it's an overview of what your organization does or a video testimonial, it's an opportunity that's being missed.
Yeah.
To really get that emotion, because this women power, women camaraderie where they can hear another female speak. And it's like you're going through this page, you're getting more excited to learn more, and maybe it's update, or you're probably going to want to sign up and learn more, but you want to solidify that by having some type of audio or visual play.
Yeah, it helps you connect more with the person and the people. So if they go and they learn about this, that helps kind of build upon that connection with the video. So I agree with that. I love this statistic. I think that should be at the top. Like what we were saying on that other page, put that up there. Kind of says like, oh, girls who code. Wow, 450,000 girls coding worldwide.
Yeah, this could be the H2, the subheading under the main heading, and then the call to action be like, be the next one. Let's grow together, something like that. Because right here, you see the stat, and then it talks about the gender gap in tech has been getting worse, but Girls Who Code is changing that. Our alumni go on to major in computer science, not saying engineer, 15x the national average. And then it says donate now. So I don't know. I'm getting a disconnect. Maybe it's like how to support. I feel like I need to know, what am I donating to? Is it to the program? Is it to the mentoring? Is it to lesson plans? Is it to like sponsoring a girl, or just like a specific program under a program? So almost this here should be how you can support, and then it shows the impact. Or I just feel like there's a segue here before you say, oh, donate. It's almost like disconnecting the messaging.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Quinn?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the right place to put the donate now button. It'd be like, learn more about how we're changing that, and then it's like the donate.
Mm. All right. So then you got news here, which is pretty standard. Become a partner. And then, all right, so let's check out the donate now page.
Right.
It's all about conversions, right? Let's see what they're doing here. All right. So looks like I got redirected to another site.
Which is fine.
Yep. Thank you for supporting Girls Everywhere by making a gift to Girls Who Code.
Is it a gift or is it a donation? That's kind of weird term to use.
Join us by making a gift today. Programming and our incredible sisterhood because you can teach girls code. All right. Want to know more about our Girls Who Code at home programming? Click here. So I would never put a link. If someone's ready to donate money, I wouldn't want to distract them by clicking here to go somewhere else. Unless it's a pop-up, which let's check out.
Because on that right side, wow, page not found. That's awesome. Yeah, so that's not good. The 404 pages is kind of a fun opportunity to have fun with the brand, like put a cool little image there, like a funny little quote. And then
it could show the girls like, we're coding this right now. We'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops.
We're coding it right now.
Yeah, exactly. But here it also on the right-hand side, it does have questions that are kind of there. So I feel like that does what that sentence is like, want to know more. Well, in that right-hand column, that information seems to be there. So I don't know the purpose of that sentence. So what does my donation go to? Can my company sponsor? How can I contact? Like,
yeah, because they're here to donate, but now you're trying to educate someone on this home programming. Which I really feel should be more informational on another part of the site, maybe under the services, right? Or programs.
And is that like a specific program? So am I donating to Girls Who Code or am I donating to a specific program about home programming now? So that actually confuses me.
And the font's really small here compared to this other font. So just typography. Again, I think because it's going to this third party, sometimes that's what happens. Your brand, like you can tell it looks different. It looks very different in feel than the original site. So like it's important, again, if you are going to use third parties, typically they give you opportunities to do custom coding to match the brand best they can. But at the very least, you try to make the typography be similar. All right. So how often would you like to donate? Time, monthly? Oh, let's say it's easy, dedicate my donate to someone. Okay, so all the information's there. Would you like your employer to match? All right. So you got your information, pretty standard. Payment options.
It's a lot of stuff to do, but I think that they're not really in control of this form because they're using a third party. But ideally, you kind of want to go through a step-by-step process where you're giving like their email first, the amount they want to donate, then they're kind of led to the payment information or that additional stuff. But also, if you're using a third party because you need to, then just run with it.
Yeah, if they can try to make it more like an application where you take it in very step-by-step
bite-sized chunks.
Yeah, because then it could look overwhelming when people scroll, and then what happens is like, oh, you know what? This will take me 20 minutes, but really may only take 7. You're like, I'll do it later. So now you
don't come back.
Now you lost that person, and then life gets busy, right? Even though the intent was there. So when someone's at peak intent, you want to make it very easy for them to fill this thing all out right away. And I'm trying to think here, what does my donation go to? I think that's a question that should be here. Like, here's how we're gonna use your donation. Thank you for making a gift.
Yeah,
but it says it here.
Let's see.
It's very small.
It's also pretty generic. Reach more girls, find and train volunteers, create a curriculum, new programs. There's some donation sites, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but where it's like $250 will help us put one girl in a program. $50 will help us buy her supplies or whatever, I like having some kind of tangible thing that I'm getting for the dollar amount. And I think that compels people more because if they're kind of emotional about this, it's that, oh, well, $50 will buy books, but for 250, I could put a girl through the program. Like I'd be more incentivized to put a girl through the program for a higher amount. Whereas you're just asking me to choose an amount and it's like, okay, I'll give $50, like whatever, or I'll give $100. Whereas it's like 250, I'm like, oh, actually, I want to put a girl through that and I want to feel good about that. I think that adding some kind of tangible thing that they get for that money and what they're donating to is a really powerful motivator to get a higher donation per person.
Yes, if they could, this drop down right here, Quinn, if they had another one, maybe underneath here is like, how would you like to make your donation? But then it's like, how would you like your donation used? And then the drop down is like, put a girl through a program. Or then if they click the outcome, right? Like, let's talk about the outcome first. It then says, oh, well, we recommend $100 or $250. So it aligns. Or you can even, in the drop down, you can even have like the name dash 250. So they see it. Or if you can't do that, have just a list, if you can, list buttons or options, kind of like check mark to say, how would you like your money used? The fact that they just can say, I want to put it towards going through the program versus doing volunteers, that money might still go to volunteers. They don't know that, but it feels good to say, you know what, I chose this. Hopefully they use my money for that. So just giving people the option versus just making it a blanket approach will help compel people to feel like they had a purpose with intent.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, that's it for this page, but it's better than most that we've seen.
Yeah, really good design, actually. Really good, very cohesive experience. So
yep,
yeah, even sites that look great have things that they could improve on,
All right,
yeah,
let's go.
Know more about
let's go with the about us here, because I'm curious, like you said, is it mostly about, like we're on a
I
mission?
want to know, is it for all women or is it just for minority women? Because I mean, I get that they're trying to be diverse and show diversity, but at the exclusion is kind of my question.
All right, so they have data here and it goes here, which is great. It's changing the game. We're reaching, yep.
So it says half of the girls we serve come from historically underrepresented groups, including Black, Latino, and low income backgrounds. So if that's half of them, then who are the other half and why are they not represented on this page and the photos? Because as they said, you can't something what you can't see. Well, I don't see myself in these photos. So I'm assuming that this is not for me.
I mean, there's many other countries that are, you have that lighter white, you can come from a country that is underserved, but you can also be considered white, right? So yeah, I think just having more photos, like just really full spectrum of diversity would be helpful. They have their
and I do get that a lot of times it is predominantly white people and minorities are not accurately represented. So I get their intention here was to really show that this is also for minority women, but I think they did it at the exclusion of white women.
Yeah, which of course is probably not their intention at all.
No, not at all.
Grocery Code is an organization that values diversity, equity. So look,
yeah.
Ironically, here we are. And they have annual reports. So this is I think just the About Us page directly. There's opportunities here to do more call to actions, like get involved or volunteer, like our values. Let's see, maybe up here. Okay, no, want to learn how to code or want to learn. So just there's opportunities here because the About Us page, historically, when we actually heat map pages and we're looking at where people are visiting, the homepage gets the most traffic. The second most visited page is actually the About Us page. So this is an opportunity again, because some people, they skim the homepage, they don't see it all. I mean, I skim, think about how you read information, right? You might not read everything on the homepage. I always tell people a joke. I say, you have to say it 14 times. You don't do that, but at least 3 times. You got to give people, everyone navigates a website differently. Everyone finds information differently. Whoever built the site, you might think like, here's where they should find the information, but you're so close to it, you know where to navigate. For someone who's never been on here, hopefully they're recording the sessions, they're understanding the user experience, but you want to give people multiple ways to convert. Like I know they have the donation thing here, but even here, like this is hidden. This is hidden, right? It says donate now. It should say like donate now or like support now.
Yeah, there's no context for that button.
So now I'm like, what is this button following me here? And all these little nuances can make a huge, like you could see 10, 20, 30% lift in conversions by just making these simple little changes.
Oh, sometimes more than that. Sometimes the tiny tweaks can have huge lifts in conversions. And even you may think, oh, this site's pretty good. It doesn't need anything, but these tiny tweaks add up over time. So if you make a cut, one that gets a 5% lift, one that makes a 30% lift, one that gets a 10% lift, those things compound on top of each other. Because it's all about a funnel, right? If you get more people from A to B, by 10%, then you get 5% more from B to C, and then you get 30% more from C to D, then those results actually end up compounding and end up to a larger result overall.
And it's all these micro changes that do make the hugest impact. Okay, so let's just go to get updates and see what this is like.
Oh, I didn't expect that. I expected it to go to.
But what am I getting? What am I getting?
Yeah.
Of course, it's probably a newsletter, but this is an opportunity to kind of say, like, what are you getting? And if you have different types of forms, if it's reports versus educational things, you want to also give people options, like, because you want to give people control of what content they want to consume, because maybe they don't care about the reports. So then now what happens is put their email on, you're sending them all the reports like down here, which I'm sure are very valuable, right? But if they don't care about that, someone might not open. Now they're not opening the email. So now your email open rates are lower, or they say, hey, this is spam, I'm not going to open it anymore. And that email provider might now be considered spam. So then now your email marketing tool might not go through because too many people are saying you're spam. So to solve all that, you have to, right from the beginning, be very clear about what you're getting, and you give people options and control.
Yeah, that was a mismatched expectation for me, because when you click to get updates, I expected to go to a page that was going to tell me like more about how to stay updated and then a way to stay updated, rather than just, I'm an adult student, give me your email address, sign up. So that's a big mistake that a lot of sites make, is that you're not matching expectations of your visitors, so they're less likely to actually convert.
Because it's the same here, right? It's in the footer. So every page is in the same footer, and it just says sign up now. What am I
signing up for?
Yeah. Overall, the site is beautiful. It's great. I mean, obviously we get what they do, but I think you can make it a lot easier and not have someone work by going to 1 or 2 additional steps. Because typically you want to get 2, maybe 3 clicks or steps and then convert, which is either sign up, donate, call, or do something. Because if it's too many steps, then you might deteriorate that conversion opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah, overall, I think they've done really well. I think they just need to be a little bit more clear in their messaging.
And this doesn't disappear.
Yeah, maybe if you click get updates again.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's not ideal. Yeah, so I think they've done a pretty good job overall. Just a little bit about the messaging, more clear on the terminology, and showing the true diversity of their program.
But kudos to them. And I really hope that they can apply some of the stuff that we shared. And they are building a community of future female engineers in the tech and science space.
That's awesome.
All right, Quinn, thank you again. Always love having you on as the queen of user experience, CEO of Conversion Crimes. Until next time.
Ciao.
All right, cheers. If you have any questions and topics you'd like us to cover, please email me at podcast@inthinkagency.com or message me on LinkedIn.